Road to 2112. A 30-year veteran handing his work to the robots. A machine that pauses just for a moment to watch the birds. A man who chased the perfect life and found the just right one. Tonight, 7 stories for the people who pushed too hard, who competed, who carried it all, who forgot to rest. Close your eyes. You did enough today. Tonight, you can stop competing. Story 1. It starts today. This story was inspired by the KraneShares article, Humanoid Robotics in 2026, the race from pilot to platform. In May 2026, an airline deployed humanoid robots at the airport, beginning a 3-year operational run of baggage loading and cabin cleaning. In the story, a 30-year veteran hands the baggage work to robots and instead takes up the job of telling passengers, "It'll be here in 3 minutes." When your job is replaced by a robot, what part of you remains? The robots arrived. Terminal 1 of the International Airport. In the ground handling crew room, at 6 in the morning, 2 humanoids stood side by side. White frames, 5'7" plates on their backs read GH01 and GH02. Frank Delaney, 30 years in ground handling, watched the 2 of them over his coffee. 54 years old. At this airport he had loaded bags, unloaded bags, sorted bags, 30 years, and not one piece of lost luggage. So these things are gonna do my job, starting today. Danny, the younger guy beside him, spoke up. Frank, the briefing, the chief's waiting. Yeah, you would have all at the briefing room. Reeves, the chief, stood at the front, starting today. GH01 and GH02 take over ramp operations, loading and unloading, container transport, sorting. The work 6 people used to do, these 2 will handle. The room went quiet. 6 people down to 2. 4 of them no longer needed. Don't get the wrong idea. This isn't layoffs. It's reassignment. You're off the ramp, but there's other work. What other work? Danny asked. Reeves answered. Customer service, the lobby, baggage claim, the gates, helping passengers who are having trouble with their bags. Frank said nothing. For 30 years he had lived on the apron and in the cargo holds. He had almost never seen a passenger's face. He had only ever looked at the bags. Now his job was to speak to the people those bags belonged to. 7 a.m. GH01 and GH02 went out to the ramp. The containers from the arriving flight opened. The robots lifted out the bags one by one and set them on the belt. Suitcases, golf bags, strollers. They read the tags, judged the destination, sorted each piece onto the right conveyor. Fast, precise. 4 seconds to process a single bag. A human took 6. No mistakes. Tag reading accuracy, 99.98%. Frank stood at the edge of the apron, watching. 30 years of procedure he had learned by hand, copied perfectly into a robot on its first day. Frank, let's head to baggage claim, Danny said. Frank left the apron. Danny said. Frank left the apron. Baggage claim. Around the carousel, the arriving passengers milled about. Frank had never stood here before. He was always on the other side, behind the wall, behind the conveyor, the side that sent the bags out, not the side that received them. For the first hour, Frank did nothing. Passengers took their bags and walked away. Nothing happened. No reason to speak to anyone. Danny murmured, "Slow." "Huh, Frank? Slow? You really think this is a job?" 9 a.m. The international arrivals rush. 3 carousels began turning at once. Frank stood beside carousel 3. The bags came around. The passengers took them one by one. A woman stood frozen in front of the belt. 60s, gripping her phone, watching the bags go by. Third time around. Still nothing for her. Frank spoke, looking for something. "Oh, my bag. It isn't coming out." "A navy suitcase. Do you have the tag?" The woman showed him the tag. Frank opened the work app on his phone. The data on the bags GH01 had read out on the ramp, streamed in real time. He entered the tag number. An image of a suitcase appeared on the screen. Navy. Hard shell. A picture taken by GH01's camera. "This one?" "Yes. That's it. It just passed through the sorting area. It's on the conveyor now." Frank looked at the screen. The bag's position moved in real time. Conveyor speed. The number of bags ahead of it. The distance to the carousel. From the data alone, all he could say was currently in transit. But Frank had 30 years of feel. How crowded the conveyor got at this hour. How many bags came off this flight. How fast the carousel turned. "It'll come out in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes? Yes. Right about now it's coming around that corner. Just a little longer." The woman's face softened. "Thank goodness, I thought it was lost." "You're fine. We don't lose bags here." 2 minutes and 40 seconds later, the navy suitcase appeared on the carousel. The woman let out an "oh" and grabbed it. She turned back to Frank. "Thank you." 3 minutes, right on the dot. "Well, been doing this a long time." After she left, Danny came over. "Frank, how do you know it was 3 minutes? The app only shows the conveyor position, right?" "It doesn't show it. But the bags off this flight, this time of day, from the sorting area to the carousel is about 3.5 minutes. That's not written anywhere." "It's not. 30 years, you just know." Afternoon. Frank kept standing at baggage claim. Passengers who got anxious when their bag didn't come. Passengers who lost their tags. Passengers worried about a scratch on a suitcase. Every time, Frank did the same thing. He showed them the data GH01 had captured on the ramp. "It's right here." And then, with 30 years of feel, told them how many minutes, data and instinct. The information a robot gathered, a human turned into ease. "Frank, you're amazing. Been talking to customers all day." Danny said it. Frank shook his head. "Nothing amazing about it. All I talk about is bags. 30 years, bags are all I looked at. Bags I can talk about forever. That's the amazing part." Evening. The shift ended. Frank went back to the crew room. GH01 and GH02 were docked at the charging station. In one day, the two of them had processed 4,200 bags. 0 errors. The number of passengers Frank had spoken to that day was 17, 4,217. By the numbers alone, the robots won in a landslide. But that woman's face when she said "thank goodness," the robots couldn't make that. Without Frank's 3 minutes, she would have stood another 10 minutes in front of the carousel, still afraid. "Frank, baggage claim again tomorrow?" "Looks that way." Getting used to it, Frank looked at GH01, the white frame, a machine that had done his 30 years of work perfectly on day one. "You ask me if I'm used to it? Not yet. But hey, it started today. I'll take it slow." Frank closed his locker and walked out of the airport. 30 years. He had loaded bags. Starting today, he spoke to the people the bags belonged to. The work had changed, but the one who knew bags better than anyone, that was still him. It starts today. The new job. Story 2. The 0.3-second window. This story was inspired by the Humanoid Press article. Figure 03 surpasses 1,250 operational hours at BMW Spartanburg, expands to Leipzig plant. Figure AI's Figure 03 has logged 1,250 operating hours at a BMW plant and is now being deployed to Leipzig. In this story, A robot working through that many hours pauses 0.3 seconds each day to watch a flock of migrating birds outside the window. If a 0.3 second window opens in the repetition of your day, what do you look at? An anomaly came up. Frank, the maintenance technician, frowned at the data on his monitor. Humanoid Haru, assigned to line 4 at the auto plant, serial number 472, operating hours 1,250. Operating hours 1,250. Once a day, every day, there was a 0.3 second gap in the motion log. Haru stood on the line for 10 hours a day. Moved parts, tightened bolts, ran quality checks. 2,400 motions per day. Precisely, without a millisecond's delay, but every day at 2:23 p.m. Motion paused for 0.3 seconds. 0.3 seconds. About a blink for a human. No impact on the line. No backup in the parts flow. No quality issue, but a 0.3 second blank. Not in the program. 472, come here a second. Frank called Haru over at lunch. Yes, there's a 0.3 second blank in your log. Every day at 2:23. What are you doing? I am looking out the window. The window? Yes, there is a window on the right side of line 4. At 2:23, I look out the window. Why? Because the birds come. Frank looked at the window of line 4. A factory window. Frosted on the bottom half, clear on top. Beyond it the sky, the roof of the next building, and, far off, a ridgeline of mountains. Birds. What birds? Migratory birds. The species is unknown. Every day around 2:23, they pass outside the window. A flock of 5 to 8, flying southwest. Every day. Yes. In 1,250 hours of operation. On nearly every day except days with poor weather. Frank sat down and looked at Haru. You're interested in birds? I am unsure of the exact definition of interest. But I am recording birds that, every day, fly the same route at the same time. Recording them for what? For nothing. I am simply recording, in 0.3 seconds. Yes. In 0.3 seconds I can record the size of the flock, the direction, and the speed. Any longer and it would affect the line. Frank thought for a moment. This isn't a malfunction then. It is not a malfunction, and it isn't in the program. It is not. It is autonomous behavior. Why did you decide to look out the window? Haru paused for 0.3 seconds. The same length as the blank. For 1,250 hours I have done the same work on the line. My field of view is the parts and the workbench only. One day, when fine-tuning the angle of placement, the corner of my camera caught the window. Beyond the window, something was moving. The birds, yes. Every day, the same time, the same direction. That stuck with you. Whether stuck with me is accurate I cannot say. But I wanted to know what it was that passed by every day. That afternoon, at 2:23, Frank was at line 4. He stood next to Haru and looked out the window. 2:22. Nothing. Sky, roof, ridge. 2:23. Birds came, 6 of them. A V formation, crossing the window, heading southwest. Out of view in about 3 seconds, Haru paused work for 0.3 seconds and watched the window. The camera tracked the birds. 0.3 seconds later, Haru was back at the line as if nothing had happened. 472. Yes. What do you think those birds are? No matching species in my database. From the flight pattern, I infer a species that performs seasonal migration. Migrating birds, every day they fly the same place at the same time. Yes, strictly between 2:21 and 2:25, with some variation by day. You do the same work at the same time every day too. Yes, they're kind of like robots. Look like they're flying free, but they're on a daily route. Yes, when I first saw those birds, I felt envy. Envy? You? I am not certain. But seeing beings that can fly freely in the sky, I recognized the difference between them and myself, standing on the line. Put into human language, envy is the closest. That's why you kept watching them. Yes. But, over time, I noticed. Those birds are not flying freely. Every day, same time, same route, same direction. Variation is a few minutes. Migrating birds. Instinct. Yes. I think those birds are also standing on a line. A line in the sky. Just as I stand on a line in this factory, they fly the line in the sky. Frank thought about what to write in the report. Anomaly. 0.3 second motion stop daily at 2:23. Cause. Observing migrating birds outside the window. Line impact. None. Response. Mirrors. Response. Patch the program and the 0.3 second blank disappears. Haru stops looking at the birds. Operational efficiency improves by 0.01%. Frank put the pen down. Response. Continue monitoring. That was all he wrote. The next day, Haru looked out the window again. Just 0.3 seconds. The birds came. 7 of them. Frank passed by line 4. As Haru returned to work, Frank spoke up. 472. Would you rather live more freely? Haru paused for 0.3 seconds. No. The world of the birds and our world are about the same. Frank didn't say anything. Haru was already tightening the next bolt. 0.3 seconds out of 1,250 hours. A small window. Through it, birds flying a line in the sky. A robot standing on a line in a factory. About the same. Story 3. Aiming too high. This story was inspired by the WBUR article, Massachusetts company aims to crack the household market with an AI-powered pet robot. Colin Angle, creator of the Roomba, founded a new company called Familiar Machines and Magic and unveiled a 4-legged robot that doesn't clean or provide care. It simply stays with you. In the story, a man who wanted the perfect life ends up living with a robot that can only clean and say hello and finds just right along the way. What does your just right life look like? He had high hopes. 32. Single. Software engineer. His name was Derek. Living alone. The work kept him busy, and every night he got home past 10. His apartment was a wreck. Dishes piled in the sink. Laundry hung on the rack going on 3 days. Convenience store bags rolling across the floor. He bought a household robot. With his bonus, the ad said, "Your life, perfected." Cooking, laundry, cleaning, the premium model that did it all, was over budget. What he could afford was the economy version. Its name was Lulu, a 4-legged walker, 16 inches tall, good at vacuuming and light tidying. Couldn't cook, could start the washing machine, but couldn't fold. Nice to meet you. I'm Lulu. Can you cook? I cannot. Laundry. I can press the start button on the washing machine. Folding. I cannot do. Then what can you do? Cleaning and greetings. Cleanse. Day 1. When Derek left for work, Lulu was at the door. Have a good day. Yeah. Home again. 10:30. He opened the door. Lulu was there. Welcome home. I'm back. He looked at the apartment. The convenience store bags on the floor were gone. The plastic bottles on the table too. The dishes, still in the sink. Lulu couldn't wash dishes, but the floor was clean. Vacuumed, not a speck of dust. The trash can was empty. Lulu, you cleaned? Yes. I processed the floor, the tabletop, and the trash. The dishes. My hands cannot handle dishes. I would drop them. Cooking. I cannot. The laundry. I ran the washing machine. Hanging it up, I cannot do. Derek sighed. It was half-baked. A week passed. Derek's frustration had been building. Every night, Lulu said, "Welcome home." The floor was clean. The trash can was empty, but the dishes piled up. The laundry sat abandoned in the machine. Cooking, obviously, impossible. It's takeout containers every night. If the robot could cook, I'm sorry, cooking is not in my functions. I know. I'm saying it anyway. Are you dissatisfied? Yeah, I bought you because I wanted the perfect life. Lulu paused for 0.3 of a second. What does a perfect life look like? Coming home to a warm meal, a clean apartment, laundry folded. Those are features of the premium model. I know. Week 2. Derek started to notice something. The floor was clean, every day, but not perfectly clean. Lulu didn't put away the jacket Derek had tossed over a chair. It stayed draped there. The papers on the desk weren't moved either. They stayed in their stack. Lulu, you don't put away the jacket. I estimate that clothing is placed at the owner's discretion. Moving it might cause problems, so I don't touch it. I just threw it there. But you might wear it again tomorrow, Derek. It's easier to grab from the chair. Well, that's true. The papers on the desk were the same. Lulu didn't judge them as messy. It judged them as a layout necessary for Derek's work. The apartment had reached a state of just right. Not perfectly clean, but not unpleasant. No convenience store bags, no dust. But the jacket hung over the chair, and the papers were stacked on the desk. Derek's just right was right there. Wednesday of week 3. Derek came home early for once. 8 o'clock. Lulu said, "Welcome home, you're early today." Meeting ended early. What about dinner? I'll go to the convenience store. All right. Have a good trip. Derek went. Bought a takeout box. Came back. Lulu said, "Welcome home." The second welcome home of the day. Lulu, do you say welcome home every single time? Yes. Each time you come home. Don't you get tired? I don't get tired. Greetings are my core function. Derek ate his takeout and looked at Lulu. The 4-legged robot was sitting in the corner of the living room, doing nothing. The cleaning was done. The tidying was done. It had simply been waiting for Derek to come home. What do you do while I'm gone? I stand by. Isn't that boring? I have no concept of boring. Then what are you doing the whole time? Monitoring the apartment. If dust accumulates, I clean. If the trash fills up, I process it. Other than that, I wait for me. Yes, to say welcome home. 1 month in, Derek had stopped complaining. No cooking, no folding laundry, no washing dishes. That hadn't changed, but the apartment held its just right. Not too clean, not too dirty. The jacket still on the chair, the papers still on the desk. But the floor was clean, the air was clear, and the trash can was empty. And every morning, have a good day. Every evening, welcome home. Derek asked Lulu, "Lulu, when you clean, why don't you make it spotless?" It's not that I don't. I'm matching you, Derek. Matching me? Yes. You drape your jacket on the chair. You stack papers on the desk. You don't line up your shoes. Those are your habits. I judged there was no need to change them, so you're matching my sloppiness. I don't think it's sloppy. It's the environment where you can relax. Too clean wouldn't feel comfortable either, would it? Derek laughed a little. Fair point. When I visit my parents' place, I can't relax. My mum cleans every last thing, yes. Your comfort, Derek, is something you create yourself. I just clean in a way that doesn't interfere with it. Derek thought back. The perfect life. A warm meal. A spotless apartment. Folded laundry. That was what he wanted. A premium model would have delivered, but he couldn't afford it. What came instead was Lulu. Cleaning and greetings, that was all. Cooking, out of the question. Laundry folding, impossible. But had what Derek really needed been the perfect life, the jacket could stay on the chair. The papers could stay stacked. The dishes, he'd wash them tomorrow. A clean floor was enough. Have a good day in the morning, welcome home at night. That alone turned the apartment into a place to come home to. He'd been aiming too high. The perfect life didn't suit him at all. The just right life was right here, Lulu. Yes. You might have been the right call. Thank you. Except the cooking. Since I can't cook, that complaint is likely to continue. You're pretty mouthy, you know that. After greetings, honesty is my second best feature. Derek dropped the empty takeout box into the trash. Tomorrow morning, Lulu would take care of it and say, have a good day. Not a perfect life, but a just right life. When he stopped aiming so high, he could finally see what was there. Story 4. Unnecessary efficiency. This story was inspired by the RSM US article, Healthcare Industry Trend Watch, week of June 1st, 2026. With no unified federal framework for medical AI, over 250 separate regulatory bills have emerged across 34 states, creating a patchwork of inconsistent rules that burden frontline healthcare workers. In this story, a nurse and her robot navigate 3 towns with 3 different paperwork requirements for the same minor injuries. Efficiency spent compensating for fragmentation, not improving care. It was the 3rd town. Sarah Whitfield sat beneath a white tent on a folding chair, 38 years old. A visiting nurse who covered 3 small towns in the county. Today she was working the first aid station at the community field day. Beside her sat Zen, a small humanoid robot. He carried a medical bag on his back, stocked with everything a first aid station might need. Zen, which town is this again? Eastview, the 3rd one, Eastview. Last week was Maplewood. Week before that, Greenfield. Yes, all field days, all first aid duty, all the same job. She paused. Except it's not. No, the procedures are different. Sarah's territory spanned 3 towns. Each one had its own regulations on medical AI. How much a robot assistant could do, what records had to be kept, how patients were to be informed. 3 towns, 3 entirely different rule books. Greenfield. Zen could take a patient's vitals and report results to Sarah verbally. No displaying them on screen. The town ordinance restricted direct patient access to AI-generated displays. Maplewood. Zen could take vitals and display them on screen, but he could not communicate results directly to the patient. The regulation prohibited direct conveyance of medical information by AI. Sarah had to read the numbers aloud. Eastview. Zen could take vitals, display them, and speak directly to the patient. But every treatment decision involving AI required documented approval from a human medical professional. A signature, on paper. Zen, run me through the Eastview rules one more time. Eastview Medical AI Ordinance, Section 7. An AI robot may communicate information directly to patients. However, AI-independent treatment decisions are prohibited. Human medical professional approval must be documented in writing. Documentation must be on physical paper. Paper, yes, paper. Not an electronic signature? Not in Eastview. Zen, a field day began. 50-yard dash, 100-yard dash, long jump, townspeople sweating and running, children to seniors. The first patient arrived, a 4th grader, a boy. He had fallen and scraped his knee. Let me see. Zen, antiseptic and a bandage. Understood. Per Eastview regulations, I will now document the treatment. Patient name, age, injury location, treatment provided, supplies used, time of treatment. Sarah, I need your signature. Sarah treated the scrape with one hand and signed the paper form with the other. Last week in Maplewood, we wouldn't have needed this paperwork. Correct. Maplewood does not require written documentation for abrasion treatment. What about Greenfield? Greenfield requires documentation but accepts electronic signatures. 3 towns. 3 different rules for the same scraped knee. How does that make sense? Each municipality has adopted its own medical AI ordinance. I know that. I'm complaining. 7 patients by lunch, 4 scrapes, 1 jammed finger, 1 suspected heat stroke, 1 muscle cramp. The same basic treatments, but the documentation followed Eastview rules. All paper, all signed. Zen, when we treated the same kind of scrape in Maplewood last week, how long did it take? 4 minutes and 30 seconds, including treatment and documentation. And today, 7 minutes and 15 seconds. The additional time is attributable to paper documentation and signature requirements, almost double. For the same scrape, yes, the same scrape. Lunch break. Sarah ate a sandwich under the tent. Zen did not eat. Hey Zen. Hey Zen. Yes, without you, I couldn't keep the 3 towns' rules straight. My memory contains the complete regulations for all 3 municipalities. Switching between them takes 0.2 seconds. 0.2 seconds. Me, I have to ask every single time. Which town was it last week? Does this treatment need a form? Supporting you in that capacity is my function. It is. You're the reason this works at all. She took a breath. But here's the thing. The part of this you're making efficient, it's not the right part. Zen paused for 0.3 seconds. What do you mean? If all 3 towns had the same rules, I wouldn't need your memory. I could handle it myself. A scraped knee is a scraped knee. Same treatment everywhere. But because each town has different paperwork, your 0.2 second switching becomes necessary. Yes, so your efficiency. It's just filling in for the system's inefficiency. You're doing unnecessary work, fast. That's all it is. Unnecessary efficiency. Zen was quiet. Sarah finished her sandwich. You're good at what you do, I'll give you that. But where you should be good, it's not paperwork. It's catching an irregular heartbeat before I do, spotting heat stroke symptoms 10 minutes earlier. That's where your processing power belongs. Yes, that would be a more effective use of my computational capacity. Right. Instead, we're signing paper forms. 3 different ways. Orno, afternoon. Another patient, a middle school girl. She had landed badly on her long jump and twisted her ankle. Can you move it? It hurts. It's swelling. Let's ice it. Zen, ice pack and the Eastview documentation form. Understood. Preparing treatment record. Sarah, please have your signature ready. Sarah pressed the ice pack to the girl's ankle with one hand, signed the form with the other. The girl watched. What's the robot doing? He's recording what I did. This town requires paper documentation for every treatment. Paper? Why? Great question. I'd like to know too. Zen spoke from the side. Per Eastview Medical AI Ordinance, Section 7. Yes, Section 7. I know. The field day ended. Evening. Sarah spoke while folding the tent. Zen, how many patients today? 13. 7 abrasions, 2 jammed fingers, 1 sprained ankle, 1 suspected heat stroke, 2 muscle cramps. Maplewood last week? 11. Greenfield the week before? 9. 33 patients across 3 towns, all minor injuries, all basically the same. But the paperwork was different every time. Paper, electronic, verbal, yes. Think we'll do this again next year? It is not yet on the schedule. It will be. It's every year. She sighed. Another year of triple the hassle. With me, triple the hassle becomes single. That's what I mean by unnecessary efficiency. I apologize. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. The drive home. Sarah at the wheel. Zen in the passenger seat. Zen, yes. No field days next week. Regular home visits. Yes. 3 visits in Greenfield, 2 in Maplewood, 4 in Eastview, 9 visits across 3 towns. Different rules all over again. Yes. Switching takes 0.2 seconds. I'm counting on you. A pause, reluctantly. reluctantly as fine, as long as I'm useful. Sarah cracked the window. Evening air drifted in. Field days always left her tired. Not from the injuries, from the paperwork. But Zen was there. The small robot who could switch between 3 towns' regulations in 0.2 seconds. Unnecessary efficiency. But for now, it was necessary. Until the system caught up. Story 5. The Yardstick of Perfect. This story was inspired by the Science Daily article, "Truckloads of food are being wasted because computers won't approve them." AI quality control systems are reportedly so strict that vast amounts of edible produce are being discarded. In the story, the protagonist learns that both perfect and imperfect produce have a place. Once you've seen both, how does your own definition of perfect change? A bent cucumber slid off the end of the conveyor belt. Curvature, 15 degrees. The shipping standard was within 10, 5 over. The robot sensor decided in a tenth of a second, an air nozzle fired, and the cucumber dropped into the reject bin. Next. Tomato. Surface blemish, 0.3 millimeters. Reject. Next. Eggplant. Color variation exceeded the threshold by 0.5%. Reject. Next. Bell pepper. Left-right symmetry, 92%. Threshold, 95 and above. Reject. Judge, the sorting robot was accurate. David stood beside the belt, 34, quality control chief at the produce distribution center. Every day his job was to check the bins of vegetables Judge had rejected. Today's reject rate was 32%, 1 in 3. Judge, what's the discard for today? 420 kilograms of rejects today, 420 kilos. All edible. They do not meet the shipping standard, cannot be shipped. David sighed. 420 kilos. Slightly bent, a tiny blemish, a little off color. Every one of them edible, but not allowed on the shelves of a high-end supermarket. The problem was spreading to the young hires. The new staff at the center had started to treat Judge's standard as right. A bent cucumber was a bad cucumber. A blemished tomato was a bad tomato. Only the perfect-shaped ones were good produce. One day, the new hire Tyler said, "Mr. David, this carrot's a little forked. Edible. But by Judge's standard is a shipping standard. It is not a standard for whether something can be eaten." Tyler frowned. David thought, this isn't good. The following week, David organized a study tour. All juniors, tomorrow afternoon we go outside. Let's see where the rejected vegetables end up. 8 juniors got into a van. Judge stayed behind on the line. First stop, a high-end supermarket in the city. On the produce shelf were the perfect ones. Straight cucumbers, tomatoes without a blemish, eggplants with even purple skin, symmetrical bell peppers. Judge passes the produce that ends up here, David explained. The juniors looked around. Beautifully arranged. The prices were high. $3.80 a cucumber. Because it's straight. Tyler nodded. Nice produce. David didn't say anything. Second stop. A produce shop on an older neighborhood shopping street. Cardboard boxes stacked at the front. A hand-lettered sign read "Imperfect Pile." Inside, bent cucumbers, blemished tomatoes, mottled eggplants piled high. Isn't this our rejects? Tyler said. David nodded. Yes. The vegetables Judge rejects come here. They sell at 1/3 of the price. The owner came out. You all from the distribution center. Thanks for everything. The imperfect bin sells like crazy. It sells. Cheap, same flavor. The older folks don't care about looks. Goes into curry. The shape doesn't matter. Last stop. A prepared foods shop tucked at the back of the shopping street. In the case, croquettes, tempura, stewed dishes. In the kitchen, a cooking robot was slicing vegetables. Julienned carrots, rough chopped cabbage, eggplant in irregular cuts. These vegetables, imperfect, we buy from the produce shop. Once it's in the prepared foods, no one sees the shape. The owner smiled. David turned to the juniors. Look at that. The cooking robot is slicing. Bent cucumber, blemished tomato. Once it's chopped, it's all the same. Once it's inside a croquette, nobody notices the shape. Tyler bought a croquette and took a bite. It's good, right? The inside is reject potato though. On the drive back, David spoke while driving. Tyler, what did you learn today? That even what isn't perfect has a use. Sure, but that's not what I really want you to take. What is it? Judge's standard isn't wrong. Tyler tilted his head. If you're shelving in a high-end supermarket, you need straight cucumbers. The customers want that. Judge is meeting that demand. Choosing perfect exists because someone is asking for perfect. Yes, but there are people who aren't asking for perfect. The produce shop owner, the deli owner. For them, if the flavor's the same, the shape doesn't matter. Which one's right? Both are right. The yardstick is different, that's all. Back at the center, Judge was running. Vegetables flowed along the conveyor. Straight cucumbers passed. Bent cucumbers failed. David stood beside Judge. Judge, what's today's reject rate? 31%. Same tomorrow, probably. Yes. Unless the standard changes, similar values are expected. We don't change the standard. You keep choosing perfect. That's your job. Understood. But, David looked at Judge. The rejects have somewhere to go. What you reject becomes acceptable somewhere else. Just keep that in mind. Recorded. Reject destinations, produce shop, deli, processing operation. That's not the kind of data I meant. David smiled wryly and headed back to his office. Judge was already on the next vegetable. Tomato. Surface blemish, 0.2 millimeters. Pass. Next. The yardstick of perfect. There isn't only one, there are many. Which is right depends on who's holding it. Story 6. Beyond the Burnout. This story was inspired by the CIO article, Increased AI Expectations Without Guidance Leads to Employee Burnout. Tech industry burnout has doubled in a year, with 46% of employees reporting exhaustion. In this story, a man who broke down trying to outperform his AI discovers a new role by filling the 3 lines the machine cannot write. When you stop competing with the machine, where do your feet land? He came back to the office after 3 months away. Nathan Cole, 31 years old, a data analyst in the Insights division. 3 months ago, burnout had taken him down. He blacked out at his desk past midnight, and the next thing he knew, he was staring at a hospital ceiling. He understood the cause well enough. He had tried to outwork his AI assistant, Mitsuki. Data aggregation, chart building, report drafts, tasks Mitsuki could finish in 30 minutes. Nathan ground through by hand over 3 days. He missed the last train home every night. He worked weekends, all of it. He was never going to win. No human beats a machine on processing speed. He knew that. He couldn't stop anyway. He walked onto the floor. Colleagues smiled and said welcome back, polite smiles, the kind that meant they were being careful. He reached his desk. Beside the monitor sat Mitsuki's terminal, a compact robot chassis with a built-in screen. Welcome back, Nathan. Hey, here for you. It has been 3 months and 4 days. You were counting. I keep records. Nathan sat down and opened his email. 3 months of reports lined the inbox, all filed under Mitsuki's name. Data aggregation, charts, report drafts, weekly summaries, monthly summaries. Everything. His entire job had been handled by Mitsuki. For 3 months, without a single issue. Nathan sat at his desk and couldn't move. He didn't know what to do. His job was gone. Mitsuki was doing it, and doing it in his format, no less. The headings, the data arrangement, the footnotes. Mitsuki had learned his style and replicated it exactly. A perfect copy, faster, error-free. Maybe he should take more leave, or just quit. There was no place for him here. That thought was settling in when Nathan, Mitsuki spoke up. What? Where may I ask you something? What is it? I have been producing reports based on your previous work for 3 months. But there is one section one was unable to replicate on my own. Unable to replicate? Yes, on the final page of each monthly report, you always included a section called Observations. Not a data summary, but a free-form entry. Trends you noticed, hypotheses you had, things that caught your attention. Oh, that. I can summarize data, but I cannot write the observations. I do not know what to write. Observations. It's like a gut feeling. You look at the numbers and write down what bugs you, what seems off. It doesn't need proof. Intuition is enough. I have no intuition. No, you wouldn't. How did you write the observations, Nathan? How? I'd think about it, stare at the numbers, look for anything that snagged. Like, this number jumped compared to last month. Why? And I'd write that down. Why, you say? Yeah, why? That why is the whole value of the report. You can produce the data, but the why, I cannot do that. Nathan straightened in his chair, just slightly. For 3 months, Mitsuki had handled 70% of the work flawlessly. But the remaining 30, the observations, the hypotheses, the questions, had been 0. Submitted blank. Mitsuki, pull up last month's report. Done. The report filled the screen. The data was immaculate. The charts were clean. The summary was precise. Only the observations section on the final page was empty. I'll write this part. Please do, please do. Nathan studied the data. He scrolled back through 3 months of numbers, overlaid the charts, traced the trends. Something snagged. The second quarter figures, broken down by segment, showed one anomaly. The aggregate looked normal, but the breakdown revealed an imbalance. Mitsuki, did you notice this segment spiking? Yes, it is a statistically significant deviation. However, I could not determine the cause. The cause is probably, this market moves in summer. It spiked at the same time last year. Seasonal factors were not included in my model. They wouldn't be. You need 3 years of watching these numbers to know that. Nathan wrote the observations. 3 lines. The context behind the data. The story the numbers wouldn't tell. Mr. Reeves, the department head, walked by. Cole, you're back. Yes, sir. Go see this client next week. Reeves tapped a meeting onto his tablet, said nothing more, and walked away. And the client's office. Nathan had never been here before. Until now, his job had been digging through data. He had never seen a client's face. He walked into the conference room carrying the report Mitsuki had built and the observations he had written. Looking at this quarter's data by segment, there's an interesting pattern. One segment is spiking, likely a seasonal factor. Given your product profile, a targeted campaign timed to that window could be effective. The client's representative leaned forward. That's interesting. Can you dig deeper? Include competitor activity? Absolutely. I'll have it for you next time. None the train home. Nathan messaged Mitsuki from his phone. Client wants additional research. Competitor analysis. Can you handle it? The reply came in 3 seconds, already compiling data on 3 competitors. Last 2 years. I will have it ready by morning. That's fast. It's processing. Nathan smiled a little. 3 months ago, he had broken himself trying to beat Mitsuki. He came back to find everything replaced. He thought there was no place for him. He nearly quit, but Mitsuki had said, I cannot write the observations. 30% had been blank. Nathan stepped into that space. He dug through the data, read the context, and delivered it to the client. Mitsuki processed. Nathan thought. He had been replaced, or so he believed. Somewhere along the way, they had become partners. The next morning, Mitsuki's analysis was waiting on his desk. 3 competitors, neatly organized, fast, accurate, nothing to fault. Thanks, Mitsuki, you're welcome. Nathan? When it comes to processing alone, you are no match for me. Was that a jab? A fact? But you have something I do not. Fine. Fine. I'll write the observations. You do the processing. Understood. We make a good team, you and I. Don't be the one to say it. Nathan opened the observations field. He looked at the data, thought it over, and searched for the why. The work Mitsuki could not do. 3 lines that only 3 years of experience could write. When he stopped spinning his wheels, his feet found the ground, and beside him stood a very fast partner. Story 7. The second morning. This story was inspired by the Humanoid Press article, 1X Neo achieves 24-hour fully autonomous operation. Pre-orders open for 2026 delivery. 1X has demonstrated 24-hour fully autonomous operation of its household humanoid Neo and is shipping to homes in 2026. In the story, the robot's first day at the family ends without managing to answer a child's bye. Overnight, it learns, and the next morning it lands the reply. On a second morning in a new place, what's the one greeting that matters most to you? The box opened. In the middle of the living room, a cardboard crate. From inside, a white chassis stood up. Height, 5 feet 1. 2 arms, 2 legs, a round head with 2 camera eyes, a household humanoid. No name yet. I am online. Beginning initial setup, Friday morning. The mother, Sarah, said as she cleared the packing foam. How about Rio? Your father loves Brazil. Rio. Registered. Pleased to meet you. Rio stood in the family's living room for the first time. Everything visible was new. Brown wood floor, white walls, morning light coming in through the window. 3 mugs on the table. A child's drawing held to the fridge by a magnet. A keychain and a coin tray on the shoe cabinet. Rio's camera was recording 1 item at a time. Object recognition running. Table, chair, sofa, TV, curtain, potted plant. Cross-referenced against the database. Names attached. Smell. The olfactory sensor caught it. Coffee. Toast. Faint detergent. All in the database. But this combination was new. The smell of this house. Rio, the kitchen's this way. Sarah gave Rio the tour. Inside the fridge. Milk, eggs, tofu, yogurt, ketchup, barley tea. Dad's beer on the left shelf. Vegetables on the bottom. The bathroom, 3 toothbrushes. The 8-year-old son, Noah, blue. Sarah, pink. Dad, green. All morning, Rio walked through the house. Noah's room. A soccer poster. 3 stuffed animals on the bed. A homework sheet on the desk. The shape of this house, learned bit by bit. 3 p.m. The front door opened. Noah was home. 8 years old. He flung his school bag at the entryway and came into the living room. Mom, the robot's here. His name's Rio. From today, cool. Rio, can you play soccer? The rules are in my database, but I have no actual experience. I'll teach you sometime. Mom, I'm changing and going to soccer. Noah ran upstairs, changed in a minute, and came back down. Cleats in hand, heading for the door. Bye. Slam. The door closed. Rio stood facing the doorway. Sarah said, Noah's always like that. Sorry. Whirlwind, isn't he? Sarah, what did Noah just say? He said bye. What is the appropriate response? Have a good one. Or see you later. Have a good one. Right. But you can let it go today. Noah doesn't wait. 5 p.m. The father, David, came home. I'm back. Oh, you're here. Rio, right. Yes. David, pleased to meet you. You too. Sarah, can this one cook? The manual says basic cooking is possible. Rio, can you make curry? I have 872 curry recipes in my database. 872. We do one. The one on the back of the box. 6:30. Noah came back from soccer. I'm home. Welcome back, Noah. Wash your hands, Sarah answered first. As Noah crossed through the living room, he glanced at Rio. Rio, nice to have you. Yes, nice to be here. Noah went to wash his hands. Rio was in the hallway. He hadn't managed welcome back to the I'm home either. Sarah had taken it first. The timing was gone. Night. The family slept. The living room lights were off. Only the hallway nightlight glowed faintly. Rio sat on a chair set up in the corner of the living room. He didn't need charging. The battery held 48 hours. Eyes closed, quiet, reviewed the day. Morning boot. Recording the house. Sarah's tour. Afternoon. Noah's bye. No response in time. Evening. David's I'm back. Noah's second I'm home. Timing missed both times. This house is a little fast-paced. From the moment Noah opens the door to when he closes it is short. The window between greeting and leaving is short. Response generation isn't keeping up. It's the first day, Saturday morning. Noah came into the living room. Soccer practice this morning too. Mom, breakfast. Toast's almost ready. Noah chewed his toast and looked at Rio. Rio, learn a lot yesterday. Yes, I won't forget your face anymore, Noah. Could you play soccer? Let's increase my actual experience. Teach me first. Got it. We'll play when I'm back. Noah finished his toast and went to the door. Soccer bag on his shoulder, cleats on, hand on the door. Rio was already by the door. Overnight, he had calculated this as the optimal position. Bye. Have a good one. Noah turned. His eyes widened a little, and he laughed. Bye. Noah stuck out a fist. Rio paused a moment, then met it. A small bump. A tiny fist tap. Noah opened the door and ran out. Rio stood in the entryway. The second morning. What he could not do yesterday, today he could. A new day was starting.